Hey, thank you very much for joining. You've obviously connected with us, you've subscribed, you've sent across your email to Al, and you're obviously part of this very secret video that is our number one for this year. At least it's my number one. Al's may be a little bit different. But you have given yourself a fantasy edge, I think the like of which you wouldn't have seen in a very long time. So let's get down to this. Obviously you've helped us because you've already subscribed, but never forget, we need your comments, we need your feedback on every video, and we love it if you tell us how you feel. Now this particular prediction, I need to put this in there to give a little bit precursor to this. I've seen a scenario like this play out before. I saw this scenario play out, funny enough, with this same team, and funny enough, with this same quarterback, because he's going to be part of a special duo for this year. This scenario happened when Randy Moss moved to New England, and that year I had the instinct and the insight to realise something special was about to happen. So I grabbed Randy Moss and Tom Brady together that year in every single league that I could possibly do. It was the best year I've ever had. It was the most fantasy championships I've ever won, and it's the year where I had the most amount of wins I've ever seen in any one season. Now, of course, we don't have a Randy Moss going to New England, but what we do know is that New England in the off-season, although they didn't have a number one draft pick, made the best use of their time. They picked up players to complement what they've already got. Let's be honest, New England are a 5 times Super Bowl team. They haven't done that in a small stretch of time. They've done that over a long stretch of time with Captain Fantastic at the helm, Tom Brady. So it comes as no shock as he's part of one of the duo. The second player is the key to this, because both these players at the moment have actually very interesting ADP. I believe I've got the ADPs listed down. I'll give it as of today as I know them. Tom Brady's ADP is 35 and Rob Gronkowski's ADP is 24. This means that they can be gained in any league format at least round 2 and round 3. This is amazing because if you put the two together, can you imagine if I'm right? And this is New England's finest year. Now, when Captain Fantastic played with Randy Moss, people forget that that was the year New England hit 50. Tom Brady had 50 touchdown passes. 50. Now, I'm not saying that he does that this year, but what I am saying to you is the following. Let's just make a bold prediction here. I think what we can say happening this year is that Captain Fantastic throws for 4,800 yards. Yeah. 4,500 yards this year, and somewhere in the range of about 45 to 50 touchdowns. Somewhere in the range, 45 on a conservative estimate. Now, we all know how good Rob Gronkowski is with Tom Brady. We also know that there have been injury concerns. Now, normally, when a player has had a bad injury, and last year Rob Gronkowski was pretty much robbed from the team, we know that happens. He's had some serious surgery, we know that. But this year, Rob Gronkowski's contract is laden with incentives. Al talked about this before, and we've alluded to this fact. You put the two together and we know that, in my view, you're building one of the greatest and strongest combinations and duos around. Can you imagine putting those two players into a team and building around them, as I'm going to do in a number of auction leagues this year and other league formats that you can get? Naturally, one of the brilliant things about this, really, to be perfectly honest with you, if you think about auction leagues first off, and it is worth spending a few minutes in this one because it is the number one, spending a bit of time on it. Can you imagine if you could get Tom Brady for under $30 equivalent, and you could get Rob Gronkowski for about 24 to 25. Let's say you actually spent 35 on each and got them for 70 overall, and you still had 130 to build your team round. That's pretty amazing when you consider what you've gained your team. And that's a worst case scenario. I think in some auctions, you'll be able to get Captain Fantastic for about 30, and I wouldn't be surprised many people are put off by Gronk, and he goes for about the same. So I think that is going to be incredibly strong to help you. And just think about that in that one format. Let's think about Dynasty for a minute here. Now, it is unusual to think about Rob Gronkowski in Dynasty because people see that he's near the end of his career, and I guess that's true. But you could probably get him or trade for him on the cheap. And if you've already got Tom Brady, I suspect that's the wisest thing you could do, and you will have an amazing year ahead of you. We already know how good Tom Brady is. We don't need to discuss it. But what we are highlighting in this video is how all the pieces, all the stars have aligned at just the right time. I've seen this happen before, and the opportunities for there to flat out dominate. Now, I could easily suggest Tom Brady and maybe Cook, or I could suggest Gillislee. I could suggest those things as well, perhaps to go with Tom Brady. But the combination, we all know how good it is, between Brady and Gronk just makes this exceptional. Now, here's something I'm going to suggest to you as well, just to weigh up and think about, because I'm flat out going to do that this year. Would it surprise anybody that in an auction league, the only players I'm going to target in one of my teams is all New England, the whole lot? Because I believe that this is going to be a flat out dominance. I tank 1 week, the rest of the time I'm dominating. I want to put stats up people haven't seen before. This is that opportunity. I really believe that this year you're going to see something so special from this team. It will be the final piece of the puzzle for Tom Brady, the final thing for Gronk, and the final thing for Bill Belichick. Just where everything aligns correctly, this team is going to have one of those years like Denver did when the height of Peyton Manning, when everything was right, all the pieces fell into place, and they put up some fantastic numbers. But the difference is with this team, they've got everything in place this year. The defence is right, the special teams are right, they've got the best coach, they've got one of the best quarterbacks. He's underrated as well because he's flying at 30-something. People are putting Rodgers ahead of him. People are putting Breeze ahead of him, Andrew Luck. I understand all that, but this is Captain Fantastic. And let me tell you something, with him and Gronk this year leading your fantasy team, it's fantasy gold. Just think about these numbers. What could Gronk do? I just want to add this in. 1,000 yards and 10 TDs? That's what he does any year. This is what he could do this year. 12 to 15 touchdowns, 1,200 yards, 80 receptions. Put him and Tom together if I'm right. That is fantasy gold, the like of which you will never see again. Last year, David Johnson was amazing. We got that right. This year, I'm giving you the prediction that's going to send a fantasy team right over the edge. You will look back next year when you see this video and you will say, my God, that was the team I really enjoyed putting in the field against everybody, and I flat out dominated my league, and you heard it here first. Hope you've enjoyed the video. We look forward to seeing what you make of it, and we'll see you again soon.